I thank the gentleman for his observation. I'm not sure the gentleman and I agree. I am not an expert in this area. I do not serve on the subcommittee or the committee. But the information that I have is that the troops that we sent in 03 and 04 on the ground did not have sufficient quantities of body armor for each one of them. Now, that may be inaccurate, and if the gentleman thinks that assertion is inaccurate, I'd be glad to yield.
Well, my point is to the gentleman.
Is that inaccurate?
That is inaccurate if you refer to the historic amount of body armor that our troops have had.
No, sir. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman.
Then I would say yes, that is inaccurate. The way the gentleman stated it, if he's not going to qualify it, that is inaccurate.
No, I don't want to qualify.
We've never had body armor.
Reclaiming my time
until this war.
Is the gentleman asserting that all of the troops who were in Humvees in 2003 and 2004 had armored Humvees, or that they had all of the troops deployed in harm's way, and by the way, being in Iraq is in harm's way wherever they may be, had the sufficient body armor. Is that what the gentleman's asserting?
The gentleman and I are good enough friends that the gentleman will allow me to make a one-sentence answer, and the answer is not since 1776 until just a few years ago have American troops in Vietnam, in Korea, in World War II, in any war, had what is known as ballistic body armor. It is a brand new thing, and we've got yet new systems that we're going to be putting into the field shortly. So they don't have the newest, and they didn't have the newest. They now have 400,000 sets, but to imply that lack of having them from 1776 to 2000 made them into some type of an unequipped force is also not fully true.
I thank the gentleman for his observation, but of course my assertion was not 1776 to 2000. It was 2003 and 2004. But the point that I will make, and if I can conclude, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the time. The point that I wanted to make, though, is irrespective of that assertion one way or the other, I believe every one of our colleagues, whatever their view on this resolution might be, all 435 have every intention and will, in fact, do whatever they need to protect and promote the safety of our men and women in harm's way. And the assertion, I tell my friend, that was made by the gentlelady from New Mexico, that the verbiage of this resolution says because serving, it does not mean those who will serve. Obviously, as soon as they are sent into theater, they are serving in Iraq, and they are covered by this resolution. There ought to be no confusion on that issue by anybody on the floor or anybody who might be listening to this debate.
Would the gentleman yield one last time?
I'd be glad to yield to my friend.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. Let me say to my friend that I think and I listened to the gentlelady's discussion. The gentlelady is a very careful member of Congress, and she looked at the words and she asked the question, does this include, because it appeared that it refers, the equipage language refers to people who are presently there, but does exclude, and she's a very careful person, and I've been in markups with her before and committee meetings with her before. She's very careful about wording. Words mean things. That it doesn't refer to people who are going to be deployed by the president in the future. And her worry, and I think it was a sincere concern, is that people who may be sent by the president in the future may end up seeing a cutoff of funds, of supplies, O&M dollars as a result of this Congress. So if the gentleman is assuring us that that's not going to happen, I think that's good news to the gentlelady from New Mexico.
Reclaiming my time, I'm glad that it's good news. I will repeat. No one in this Congress, not Chairman Skelton or Chairman Murtha or any member on this side, will take any action that will put at risk the men and women who we have placed at the point of the spear in harm's way. I make that representation to you, that assertion, and I make it as strongly as I can possibly make it. This is about a policy as to whether or not we ought to send 21,000 additional people. And as the gentlelady from New Mexico said, she herself has great reservations about that policy, but rationalizes voting against the resolution, which opposes that policy, on an assertion that I think was not correct. And if she wanted that clarification, I'm glad that I could give it to her. I thank the gentleman. I thank the gentleman for yielding.